evening.
Good evening.
Excellent, thanks. My name is Dr. Randall Osborne. I'm in the psychology department here at Texas State. And I want to thank each of you for coming to our special presentation this evening. I didn't realize, I know I didn't realize, and I'm sure that Dr. Rosenfeld didn't realize that when we scheduled this presentation, it was the Friday evening before spring break. So, if I could give you extra credit for being here, I would. We'll pass the sheet around and we'll see what the professors have to say. If you're here as a student from class, if you put your name and your professor's name on the sheet going around, and please print. We don't want to give your points to somebody because we misread your name. I want to extend an extra special welcome to those folks who are visiting here from the Criminal Justice Department. It's nice to see faculty and students from over in that department. I worked with the then brand new chair of the Criminal Justice Department starting in fall of 2001 to develop an undergraduate minor in forensic psychology. And my goal in getting Dr. Rosenfeld here is to begin to develop a more firm partnership between the academic goals of the psychology department and academic goals of the Criminal Justice Department. So I think that it will be very, very successful in that regard. If you were in attendance in Dr. Rosenfeld's talk this morning, you'll know what I'm about to say. Before I start, I wanted to let you all know that after Dr. Rosenfeld's talk in the lobby area out there, I believe we'll have a reception. I haven't seen the food and drink yet, but I believe that will be the case. The reception is being sponsored jointly by the Psych chapter, International Society in Psychology chapter here at Texas State, and the Texas State Psychology Department Psychology Association. The students are putting that together. Now, let me introduce our special guest. Dr. Rick Rosenfeld is Curator's Professor at the University of Missouri St. Louis. He's also the current president of the American Society of Criminology. He's the author or co-author of more than 5 books, more than 61 professional journal articles, and more than 25 book chapters. And if I've done my math correctly, he's also secured over $1 million in grant funding to support his research on crime and crime theory. His research interests include the social sources of violent crime statistics, and crime control policy. His current research focuses on explaining U.S. crime trends, and he'll be speaking this evening on the topic of his talk, Violent Crime, Property Crime, and the Economy, a Unified Explanation. Dr. Rick Rosenfeld.
Thank you very much. I'm going to speak without a microphone, but if you have difficulty hearing me, let me know. But that's usually not a problem. Randall's just left, so I can tell you he's run me ragged all day. But it's been fun. I've met university students, undergraduates, I've met high school students, and PhD students from a variety of disciplines. So it's been a good day. Let me just say that I knew very little about Texas State San Marcos before visiting, and I'm impressed. This place is growing. It's exciting. You have resources, which is for which I envy you, and certainly in the areas in which I have an interest, criminal justice and the forensic area of psychology, you seem to be moving in the right direction. So for the students, if you don't appreciate the quality of the educational experience you're getting, you might. It's an exciting place to be. Second thing I should mention, and excuse me, I mentioned this morning as well, I'm evidently tragically overdressed. The fact that it's a Friday and before spring break, and here we are, and in any event, just the way it is. I'm going to talk tonight about some ideas that I've been developing over the years and on which I've been doing some research. And I want to, in the course of my remarks, suggest a number of things. I want to talk about crime and the economy. This is a timely topic given the state of economic conditions in the United States right now. Although the current recession has not coincided, at least as yet, with substantial crime increases. In fact, what we've seen across the board are flat crime rates or even crime declines. And that poses an interesting challenge, and it's one of those areas, or one of those opportunities, I should say, for some good work. But in the past, we have seen a relationship between economic changes and changes in property crime rates. I want to also suggest that there's a connection, though somewhat less direct, between economic changes and violent crime rates over time in the United States. I also want to propose that violent crime and property crime are related to one another causally. That is, changes in property crime rates reflect a set of conditions that also give rise to corresponding changes in violent crime rates. Now, that may not seem like news to many of you, but for the criminologists in here, it may come as something of news, because typically criminologists view violent crime and property crime as related to one another, perhaps, but the relationship is spurious. That is, the dominant view in the discipline, in my discipline, is that the same conditions or the same individual characteristics that give rise to high rates of property crime also give rise to high rates of violent crime, but the two are not causally related. And I want to propose that they are, and that our discipline is in need of some revising of its thinking about the relationship between those two types of crime. I want to then explain or provide some ideas about how the economy and violent and property crime are interconnected, and then I think it's very important that we spend some time speculating about the absence of crime increases, at least to date, during the current economic crisis. Past research on crime trends and changes in economic conditions has produced a set of mixed results, leading to an equally mixed set of conclusions. I think it's fair to say that the overall interpretation of that long body of research suggests that that relationship, if it exists, is complex, and indeed it may not exist. James Q. Wilson, who's a prominent policy analyst, has made the case pretty forcefully that there is no relationship between crime and economic conditions. Crime rates go up and down for a variety of reasons, but those changes are not related in any meaningful sense to changes in the economy. And others have found that increases in economic conditions